This week on Wonky Times, we're going vintage. RoboBecca digs up an old Bigfoot documentary filled with eyewitness accounts. Plus, Matt and RoboBrian try to make sense of it all and possibly come up with the worst plan ever to catch one. Rock on, dudes. It's party time.
Meanwhile, let me pass on the good word about the new
Wonky Times.
Yeah, what's up? Hey, it's Matt Sterner. I'm your host for the Wonky Times podcast. I'm here with my friend RoboBrian.
Greetings, humans.
So, Brian, I don't know if you've noticed this, but vintage stuff is very in right now.
Define vintage.
You know, like old things that used to be considered outdated are now cool again. Like VCRs, cassette tapes, people wearing clothes that look like they were found in a box in someone's attic.
So, trash has become trendy.
Well, not really. But you'll see someone wearing a tuxedo jacket, and then the pants that they're wearing, they look like they've been through 3 divorces and a house fire.
Distressed formal wear.
And people love it. And, you know, it's got a character.
It has battle scars, dude.
But trendy battle scars.
I don't think I'll be participating.
I mean, you don't really have a choice, Brian.
Why is that?
You're already kind of vintage. I mean, look at you. Like for example, you're like the older model of RoboBecca. She sounds less robotic and staticky.
That is offensive.
But the reason I bring this up is because RoboBecca, she's here on the show again like she normally is, and she has fully leaned into this vintage trend.
Of course she has.
She's like way cooler than both of us, Brian. And recently she found an old 1972 Bigfoot documentary. It's pretty cool. No way. And it's honestly like great timing because I don't know if you've been reading the news lately, but Bigfoot's been making a comeback. There were a bunch of sightings in Ohio. They were like popping up all over the place.
Suspicious timing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Bigfoot's on tour.
It's a publicity stunt.
All right, you ready to do this, RoboBecca?
Yeah, let's get groovy. AKA, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I figured that's what you meant.
RoboBecca's Vintage Vault, where the creatures are far-fetched, the stories are true, and absolutely no one had a clear image or video of what they saw. But hey, cheers to fuzzy footage.
Welcome to the Vintage Vault. I found this old documentary, Bigfoot, Man or Beast, and pulled a few interviews that stood out. This documentary is basically a series of first-hand Bigfoot encounters, told by people who are very sure of what they saw.
Yep, and this video is actually on our YouTube channel, so go check it out. It's like an hour and a half. It's great. Check out the full dang doc, why don't ya?
Yeah, just search for Wonky Times on YouTube. Also, go to wonkytimes.com.
Nice plug, Brian, nice.
Okay, so the first clip I want to show you. In 1924, Fred Beck and 4 other miners were in a cabin in the backwoods located in Washington state. About 4 or 5 fuzzy creatures approached their cabin during the night.
Oh, I know this one. This is about the hairy giants who threw rocks at a house and pounded on the walls, all crazy.
No spoilers.
In those days was big shoulders and small hips and hairy. They was, I'd call them a black turned brown by the sun, outside hair. That's what I would call them to be. And muscular. And they looked like they were about 8-9 foot tall.
Here's a wild one. Albert Osman, also in 1924, was camping near Toba Inlet in British Columbia. And while asleep in a sleeping bag, he was picked up and dragged several miles. For 6 days, he was trapped inside the home of these creatures.
Wow, imagine that. That's crazy. How did he get away?
He ended up getting them sick to their stomachs by letting them eat some of his chewing tobacco.
Oh, the old box of snuff prank.
Snuff? You're like a 90-year-old dude in a rusty robot suit.
There was 4 of them, and none of them look alike. There was what I call the old man, because I had no scale or any rules for measurement, but he was at least 8 feet tall, and must have at least 800 pounds. But what I call the old lady, she couldn't have been over about 600-700 pounds. She was probably 7 feet tall. They were all covered with hair.
Here's a classic tale about spotting some very large footprints.
what happened at that time was that Mrs. George Chapman, who lived in a house down by the river behind me here, she was in the house and their children were outside. One of them came in and told her that there was a cow coming out of the woods. So she looked out and she saw this man-like thing, but about 8 feet tall and completely covered with hair like a bear. And she knew it to be a Sasquatch. She'd really only had one quick look at the thing, so it wouldn't be that convincing a story, except that a lot of people immediately went back there and saw these enormous tracks. Mr. Tifting, of course, was one of them, and can describe just what the tracks were like and what they did.
Well, he came through the bush into the shed, or the lean-to of the house, and there was a barrel of dried fish with smoked salmon, rather. And there was some fish eaten there and thrown around. And then he went down the riverbank and apparently took a drink and then come back up on the other side of the house through the garden patch, and the footprints was about 18 inches.
No way.
Here's a Bigfoot sighting that comes with some screaming.
Nice.
Well, I think my wife and I have heard the Sasquatch. There's a swamp fairly close to the house here where we can walk out of an evening, and quite often we go down to watch moose. And one night we were down there and there wasn't any moose around, which was strange because in the summer every night there's moose in the swamp. And it was just before dusk when across the swamp we heard this screaming cry.
There were 3 cries, screams, or horrible screams, or whatever there was. One after the other, there was silence between, and everything was just dead quiet afterwards. Just made the hair crawl on the back of your neck.
We didn't see anything, but I've heard every animal that lives in the locality at different times, and it wasn't any of those. And if I was asked to describe the sound, I'd say it was a kind of a screaming cry, and it seemed to have anguish in it. Anguish was the thing that stuck with me.
Here is an approximation to the sound that they reported hearing that evening.
I don't even know what to say about that, RoboBrian. That's like that sounds like a dinosaur from Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
Which movie?
Huh?
Which one? There's like 13 of those movies now.
I don't know, like probably in all 13 of them.
One more, guys. A couple of dudes back in the 70s had a heated debate on how to catch a Bigfoot.
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you just tickle their feet.
I don't think there's any argument that the fastest way to bring this to legislation for the betterment of the species, the fastest way would be killing one. The only way. Possibly. However, the killing of one, I just feel that I really feel that the youth of this world and the people that are young at heart have had enough of the killing. I really feel they have had sufficient of the slaughter of species for the so-called enlightenment of man. But I think that it is time for a new precedent to be set, for legislation to be passed on an accepted species without total so-called scientific knowledge.
All right, why pick this species? Are you going to stop people from slaughtering hundreds of thousands of deer every fall?
Why not start now?
Why start with this one?
Well,
I'll tell you why. It's because it looks more like man than any other, and as far as I'm concerned, that is a concern for humankind, not for any animal kind.
You remind me of the little old lady who got all hepped up when I told her I would kill a Sasquatch, and then she went in and had a steak dinner. First thing first, and the first thing is to find proof, 100%, so there's unquestionable evidence available which proves the existence of this creature. And the rest of them is all, well, it's nice. You know, you can dream about it and so on, but you have to be cynical, you have to be ruthless, and it's no game. It's no game. It's one of the biggest scientific discoveries the world has ever seen in an anthropological and probably zoological and biological sense, and might revamp or turn over the whole theory of evolution and everything else. But that would flip our lid, to put it bluntly.
But I would rather.
So therefore, never mind the philosophical discussions. I say go grab them any which way.
I would rather lose than win that way.
Well, if you're in this business 20 years, I'm in this to collect the Sasquatch, dead or alive, to prove its existence, and, that's all there is to it.
Wow, that was really cool. Thanks, RoboBecca. Thanks for doing that, and then I hope to see another Vintage Vault very soon.
Anytime, dudes.
And that's the end of this week's show.
Thanks for getting wonky with us.
So yeah, like always, let us know if you see anything weird out there. If you do, email us at getwonky@wonkytimes.com.
Or send us a message on Instagram at wonkytimes.
Or call us at 615-669-8240 and leave us a voicemail. We're not going to answer it, but there's a very good chance that we'll play your message on the show, so pretty cool.
Give us a ring-a-ling.
Adios! I like to do it on the couch.
I like to do it with my husband.
Heck, sometimes I do it when no one's looking. Anywhere works for me. Introducing the Wonky Times Hotline. It's so much fun. You can do it anywhere.
No way.
Yes, anywhere. Your couch, your car, your backyard. Call us, leave a voicemail, and maybe you'll hear your message on the next podcast episode. Dial 615-669-8240. Strange stories, spooky tales, and all things wonky just waiting for your voice. Again, that's 615-669-8240. Don't wait, get wonky today.